Hey, welcome back to another episode of Talking Chaos. I'm the Condor. Duh. I don't know, I've done this before. I'm having deja vu about the intro. I'm with Fred. You guys know Fred, right? I hope
As
you guys
always,
know Fred.
I'm here.
It's Warlock Fred. And we have another guest, Kremple.
You thought I was gone, motherfuckers.
So we're going to be talking today about some adventures that we recently took. Fred and I both took totally unrelated adventures.
But at the same time,
in the middle of the
oddly
week,
enough.
Right? When did you leave on your... hold up real quick. We got to do a thank you. Thank you, patrons, real quick.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Super important that we mention this because I'll forget. I'm a little inebriated.
Aren't we all?
But the patrons make this possible. Any amount that you guys sign up for is totally, we super appreciate it. If you guys can help us out, that would be great. You help keep it commercial free for the time being.
But if you decide to go with the $10 and up tier, you end up getting access to the full bush, which is basically another episode, sometimes episode and a half, depending on the episodes that we do.
Yep, and you get it 48 hours before anybody else. Early access. Totally awesome. But we're talking about adventures today. Where'd you go?
I went to Canada. I went to our neighbors to the north.
Yeah. That's
of course
Swedish.
You,
I don't know why the fuck.
Yeah, to do this to me as I'm eating a snack.
Well, I didn't know that you were going to Canada. Your and I's conversation lately has been minimal also. But when did you leave?
So I ended up leaving about.
We're not doing it. Nope.
Rude. Oh. You're going to shut down my Canadian accent. I see how it is. I end up leaving about...
because they're Scottish and they're for no reason.
they're all terrible accents, I know. I end up leaving about Monday morning.
So you guys took it in the middle of the week.
Yeah, we ended up going Monday to Wednesday is roughly when we drove back. But it was a gorgeous drive. Also, our server at our last restaurant had the hardcore fucking Canadian accent, and I know you hate it when I do it, but I can try and fucking hold on to it and maybe pull in the accent, but I doubt it.
It's too Scottish. You're the bourbon that you're drinking is just melting through your vocal cords and causing all these problems.
So what you're saying is that the Canadian is basically Canadian plus, or Scottish is basically Canadian plus Kentucky bourbon equals Scottish.
If that's what you're drinking, it's whatever you're drinking.
I've got this much left in
can
a
I
half
get a
gallon.
ruling here on how fucking crazy he sounds? He sounds like the most confused Scottish Canadian guy I've ever heard.
Dude, I'm not fucking good at I'm not good at making voices.
The only good part about my Canadian accent is the apologizing. Sorry. That's I can nail that. Sorry. Sorry. They say it's so weird. There's an inflection there that I love. I did not go to Canada. I went to Pennsylvania, which was a 9-hour drive from where I live.
Heyo.
I went to...
In fact, we were actually trying to work out a way to intercede each other.
Yeah, we did not get to cross streams, though, unfortunately.
By the way, I'd like to ask, you said that you guys were leaving at 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
No. And you ended up leaving at 1 p.m. You guys didn't
11.
No. You texted me and said, "Hey, we left a little bit late. Our start time got a little pushed back."
Yeah, dude. We didn't make it to Bushkill, Pennsylvania, which is where I was at it. Bushkill. We didn't make it until 10:30, 10:45 at night.
Do they hate the second half of your show? Is that what they call it? Bushkill? It's a bunch of not fans.
But no, like you said, like, hey, we're leaving at 3-4. You left it like, I'm guessing like 11:30, 1 p.m. Like sometime in that frame. You guys didn't leave late. You established a whole new time frame in which you were going to leave.
It's not late. That's a day later.
Like you took, hey, we're gonna start at this time. No, you fucking didn't.
Can you imagine being at
And
work?
I know I'm slaughtering
telling
whatever
your
the fuck
boss,
accent I'm
like-
doing, and I can't help it.
Yeah, I just imagine working in some office job and you tell your boss, like, yeah, Peter, sorry, that report's going to be a little late. Well, when should I expect it? I don't know, next month sometime.
When should I expect it? Don't.
No.
Don't.
It's going to be a little late.
Just don't. Someday. I wouldn't hold your breath.
Maybe sometime next month.
The Lord will bringeth forth the answer to you, Peter. Pray on it.
Pray on it. I would ask your God.
Thankfully, I've not shot liquor out my nose yet so far this show, but I feel like Condor's trying to do it.
I'm pressing the luck here pretty hard. So yeah, no, I'm going to leave part of most of my story for the uncut, for the full bush. And if you guys want to listen to that, subscribe to that $10 tier. But a lot of my story is ridiculous. And so we're going to wait to tell that in a little while.
All right, so I guess my turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually like forward planning. I'm taking a trip to Cancun in February, but
Fuck you.
I know. But in order to do so, I had to purchase passports for my family. Which, by the way,
So
passports.
you got the passports and we're like, fuck it, let's go to Canada?
Wait. For your known family or for your secret family?
Yeah, doesn't the military assign you a different family?
Technically, the military doesn't assign you a family. She came along before I had the fucking military along with me.
You were assigned her long ago. Okay, I understand.
No, I wasn't assigned her. She joined in.
There was a dowry. I understand.
I was married. Anywho, I was married before I joined.
Half a herd of cattle later.
If that's the case, I must be fucking rich.
I like your accents, all right?
Thank you.
Oh, fuck Condor. The worse, the better, in my opinion.
All right, whatever. Proceed. I've been overruled.
All right, so we ended up going to Canada so we're going to Cancun in February, which, provided season 2 actually happens.
Jesus, what an accusation. Of course season 2 will happen.
But provided season 2 happens, I will take a break, hopefully, like better fucking happen, middle of February time frame.
Okay.
And but because I don't trust the State Department enough to actually like properly create passports because they're expensive as fuck. And they actually screwed up my wife's. We ended up going to Canada because, well, how better to test how your passports are going to work than to go to our neighbors to the north.
Nothing like making sure my passports work than gravy and fucking fries. It's poutine for the rest of us.
Yes, and there's also cheese involved in there.
It's not to be confused with Canadian poontang. That's totally different.
But so the State Department screwed up my wife's passport, and we ended up getting it roughly 2 weeks before we left. We ended up going to Canada and we wanted to check and make sure the passports were good because, well, let's be fair, the State Department kind of fucks up everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Benghazi.
Jesus. Too soon?
Too soon or not soon enough?
I don't know, man. That one stung a little, and I wasn't even there.
Anywho, we ended up going north because our neighbors to the north are a little bit more accepting of U.S. passports versus the country we're determining whether or not we should establish a wall between us or not.
I can see where that would be where you wouldn't want to test it.
I really don't want to land in Cancun and be like, hey, you can't go back.
Hot.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could just call work and be like, listen, I'm not coming in on Monday.
They're just like, the fuck you aren't? Who we gotta call?
Like, hoorah, motherfucker. Let's go.
Right. SEAL Team 6 comes in, rescues you and your family, and you're back in the office in 3 hours flat.
No, I just picture him only saving him. And he's like, what about my family? And they're like, we're the government, dude. We don't give a fuck.
Right, what family? We'll get you a new family. She was garbage. No, Ursula was great.
She's gonna hear this and fucking chew you a new one.
I love you, Ursula.
You
Don't
have to
kill
edit
me,
that in
please.
so she doesn't really kill you.
No, love me.
If anything,
She's gonna sneak up on you in the night, dude.
If anything, in the military will be like, we didn't issue you a family. What the fuck are you talking about?
The only thing I'll see is just a bright smile. It's right over my bed. Fuck, this is it, isn't it? Yes, outspeaks the white mouth.
This
So we ended
is
up
the
going to-
end.
The floating mouth suddenly utters something and I die.
So we ended up going to Canada. We ended up going to a Niagara Falls, of all places, which, might I say right now, is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's super cool.
It's amazing, like, especially from the Canadian side. If you haven't seen it from the Canadian side, you haven't fucking seen it.
I've only ever been on the bridges to Canada at night. And it was only because people in my family don't know how to drive and we accidentally drove into Canada a couple of times. Solid. Serious. One time we did cross over Ontario from Michigan. And it was like 8-hour drive, dude. I've never hated Canada more in my life. It's all flat. It's like driving through Ohio if Ohio was bigger and less interesting. Like it sucked so hard. And that's a regional joke, but anybody who's driven across Ohio or Pennsylvania, you get it. But Pennsylvania, man, it was a ridiculous drive. I'll tell you guys more about it in a second. Is that the first time you've been to Niagara Falls?
It is. It's actually it's the second time I've been to Canada. This first time I've been to Niagara Falls. Well, what's great is my daughter, who's 4, decided, Daddy, I want to see the falls. And so, like, they have these like guardrails and everything up where you can like there's like
At the top? Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like, so we were at what is called Horseshoe Falls, which is a big, like it literally is like a crescent type falls. Like
Just like a horseshoe.
Yeah.
What? No way. Totally. Wow.
But
Stiletto shaped.
So she decides, like, I want to stand like on this little concrete barrier thing. Like they have like a steel bar there as well, but like she's standing there and she's like, but Daddy, I want to stand over there where like, so I ended up taking her over to where she wanted to stand like on this little concrete barrier and showed her exactly what was down. And she's like, and it's like, by the way, it's like a 200-foot drop.
Yep.
Like straight fucking down. And she goes, Nope, Daddy, not for me.
Not for me.
I have an equally hilarious, I think, a less entertaining story than you about Niagara Falls, but it was about the Buffalo side. So this is like, you had like the Canadian experience. This is the American experience. Okay. So my birth father grew up in Buffalo. That's his hometown. And we were on the American side during winter. So the falls are frozen. The water still comes down, but at the base is a hollow, like volcano-looking frozen ice thing. But instead of the water coming out of the volcano, it's shooting straight down, and the mist is collecting on the sides, and it looks gnarly as fuck. But my dad was like, where do you guys want to eat? We decided on the Hard Rock Cafe. Somehow my father...
Stateside or Canadian side?
Stateside.
Okay. That
so
one
my father and I got into an argument, and we got into such a heated argument that he almost stranded me next to a bunch of really stupid shops by the American Side Falls.
How old were you?
It's like 12.
Okay. All right. So not quite hitchhiking age yet.
And then we did not get dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe because I got in trouble and he wanted everybody to be mad at me. So we didn't even get to go to dinner, and everybody starved basically.
So what you're saying is you were a shit and he decided nobody's having dinner because I'm not having a good time.
I've discussed this with the family members that were there, and he absolutely overreacted. I did not. What I said is bears no memory to the fact that he just decided none of us get to eat dinner.
I'm not hungry, so you guys must not be hungry.
Yep.
I'm literally so angry that I'm not hungry anymore, so nobody's eating.
I'm so hungry I want to watch you guys get uncomfortable and irritable. That's how hungry I am. But it was, quite the experience. I have fond memories of spending time with my family on vacation. Crumple, when was the last time you left the state?
That's kind of rude to throw somebody under the bus like that. Damn.
I don't know, dude. Fucking last time I had warrants. I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I had warrants.
I don't even have a car. I don't want to have a car. So leaving isn't.
And keep in mind, audience, we don't live in New York City. We live in a place where most people have cars.
Yeah. We live in a rural location that requires transportation of some variety.
There's no where
taxi cabs are not a thing.
Buses, but there's no subway. He's not every 5 minutes able to hop a different train to go up to the whatever place. I obviously have a cursory knowledge of how cities work. What did you think of you were only gone for 3 days, right?
That's correct, yeah.
What did you think of taking a little mini vacation like that? And how long was the drive?
So how long was the drive? The drive was roughly 6.5 hours.
So you had half a day to fuck around each day.
Yeah, 6.5 hours straight. It took a little bit longer, provided that we, stopped for lunch and potty breaks because, the wee one is 4 and,
the bladder is wee. I understand.
Yes.
She has but a wee bladder.
But we ended up crossing, we ended up going to Niagara Falls, New York. We went around a couple different malls and did sightseeing and stuff like that, and then decided to go to the actual Canadian side, which is where we stayed. And honestly, what the best part about this entire trip, the thing that made the most comedy for this trip that we had, we were coming back to the stateside, and the Border Patrol agent was gave them passports and everything, and they're like, hey, so did you get anything over there? What are you bringing back? And my wife and I look at each other and we're like, fuck, what did we bring back? And I literally pick up the Tim Hortons cup of coffee that I got that morning, hold it up, and go, I think this is it. Because the only thing we bought
That's pretty
there,
funny.
we didn't buy any souvenirs. We didn't buy any alcohol. We didn't buy anything really except food that we consumed.
Why would you want to prove to people later you took a trip to Canada anyways?
Food we consumed, or like we ended up going and playing fucking mini golf at like a little like arcade thing that my daughter, like it was, we stayed at a essentially a casino, like, or attached to a casino, but my daughter
Hotel,
obviously
casino. Yeah,
like obviously my daughter can't go to the casino, so we went to the fucking arcade,
right.
and she had a goddamn blast.
Right, well, she's 4.
Yeah.
It was my favorite place to go to at the mall when I was 4.
but with said arcade, there's no like prizes or anything. Like we played mini golf twice, and like I think one of the laser tag things once, maybe. I think. Did we? No.
Who won?
We did not do laser tag, and we did not keep score for the putt or mini golf, whatever you want to call it.
You're just two losers then.
She's fucking 4.
Yeah,
and
well,
she was on her ass.
Not keeping score.
All right. I'll be fair. She's the only one that got a hole in one.
Yeah, well, that definitely makes you the loser then. You're the loser that didn't want to keep score because he knew he was going to lose to his kid.
That was the second round of mini golf. And I really thought to myself,
round 1 wasn't enough embarrassment for you.
And I really thought to myself, maybe we have the next Tiger Woods.
Man.
No.
I'm done. I give up. That night, dude, tonight, I was going to say tonight, but that night, dude, Tom's just, never mind, dude, I quit. I quit, dude, I can't do it. I suck at this whole thing. Just edit me out of the whole show. I'm bad, dude. I can't fucking. I'm the most sober one here. I can't keep anything straight. I'm just a garbage person. I hate myself.
You don't travel.
I don't travel. There's nothing interesting about me.
He doesn't travel. He can't remember shit. He's
you guys
fucking
can totally understand why we brought him on this episode then.
I'm just garbage. I'm just a garbage person.
To make our trip seem more interesting.
So, one of the things I've been trying to do so I have a dash cam. Like I have literally a camera that I let like fucking show where I'm driving and everything. And it's 6.5 hours to Niagara Falls, to Ontario, roughly. Mm-hmm. And so I have recorded 6.5 hours of driving to Ontario through backwoods fucking like where I'm at.
Okay. What do you intend to do with this?
Honestly, I intend to make it into a full length, like not necessarily full length video of 6.5 hours because that'd be fucking like kill me now boredom. But
I was really gonna say like, why would you do that to YouTube?
Poor YouTube.
So
like I want to make my life seem more enjoyable, so I'm gonna look up a guy's 6.5 hour drive. Are you gonna like speed it up?
Yes.
Or is it like okay?
So
I was really hoping to get the full experience.
Man, you can't believe how long your videos can be on YouTube now.
I believe the extent of videos for YouTube is 10 hours.
Well,
I remember that.
When you do the sped up version, make another version for me, the like quote director's cut, where it's just a 6.5 hour long video.
Listen, I remember the 10-hour thing because this is how much weed I was smoking at the time. The 10-hour thing came out and I immediately found a video where someone slowed down the Windows loading sound to 10 hours. And it actually sounds beautiful. Like just the super long chords that change slowly over time. Or maybe it was just really boring and I was extremely stoned. But yeah, that's how I spend my time. I don't fucking travel or anything. I like to listen.
How high were you, Crumple?
I was so high, I was watching you show your kid what down Niagara Falls looks like. Like way up there.
Okay, we're gonna intro the full bush with a little kind of snippet. What? Are you like 5 minutes?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I've been keeping track.
Well,
So, anywho, video editing is a bitch. For anyone who decides to do it, my dash cam has decided to cut everything into 4-minute segments. So I have 6.5, or roughly, actually, it's more like 9 hours.
Wow.
Like 9 hours worth of travel into 4-minute segments.
What is that?
It's 118 segments.
15 per hour times 9 is like 145 4 minutes.
What
segments?
I have 98.
You are.
That's way too many.
Incredibly wrong, Condor. It's like 106 segments.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
106, 108,
too
something
many.
like that. Yeah.
Why would it do that to you?
I don't know why, but my dash cam decided to cut it into it's like 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
Oh, you said it was 6.5. Yeah. It'd be like 104, 106.
When you opened your dash cam out of the box, were you like, oh man, this isn't the one I want, and it heard you? And now That's like torture.
So when
you know what then? Fuck you. Editing my software is going to be a bitch.
So I bought it roughly 3.5 years ago, roughly. So it's been a minute, but oddly enough, it records in 1080p. So I have 3-minute and 51-second clips at 1080p, 30 frames per second, all the way up to Niagara.
That's cool.
You didn't get footage of the way back?
No, I have footage of the way back too.
Oh, do you really? That's fantastic.
Right now, someone has a compass, and they're just being like 3.5 hours out of Niagara, and they're like figuring out exactly the area where you could live.
The fucking radius around.
Yeah.
You could be where could you could be in New Jersey, and he could be.
It's just this crazy man with like a bird hat, and he's like, "I want to be a bird too. I'm gonna get him to turn me into a bird. I want to fly. I've always wanted to fly."
Oh man.
That. But,
just for me, kids. It's just punishment.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I have to convert every single audio or video file in from an AVI to a MOV MP4 or something like that.
Yeah, this sounds like awfully sophisticated technology for such a downsy wizard.
Unfortunately, I can't cast a spell and be like, do all this shit, motherfucker.
Your magic doesn't interact with current technology.
My magic does not interact with technology.
You have like an Apple wand and it's a fucking Windows PC.
I have a goddamn wooden wand and it doesn't interact with anything electronic, fucking asshole.
Yeah, it just makes apples. It's not an actual.
Oh man, that was great. That's beautiful.
Yes, I'm trying to speed up the 6.5 hour video or 7.5 hour video to an actual audio or video clip that I can put up that's maybe 15 minutes long and add an audio clip to it that's, something that may be ASMR eligible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But are you worried that that if like the footage goes too fast, it's just going to be like a blur? Like me when I used to drink?
You mean like currently? What?
We took a spaceship to Buffalo. We were there in 3 minutes.
So what's great is no. What's great is one of the video converters that I had decided to do a half rate. So it would for every frame it would render, every other frame would be a media not available. And so like as I'm trying to actually export this to like an actual video file, like it would literally stutter as like the
Just
car.
having seizures.
Yeah. But what's great is every single time it would pop up this red background with a big ass triangle saying media not available. And so like it would literally be like shuddering as it's going, like as you're going down the road, it's just shuddering as it's like trying to render every third fucking frame.
I beg you to upload it, and so the video's like 60 seconds long, and it says like land speed record broken.
I'm picturing you editing it and your sorceress wife coming downstairs and being like, baby, we can go to a rave if you want. You don't just got to sit in front of a flashing screen.
Are you microdosing ecstasy again? Oh, yeah.
Baby, don't worry about it.
What do we have for a time, Fred? Okay, so I do want to preface you. We're going to talk briefly about my adventure, and if you guys want to hear the rest of it, listeners, you're going to have to check out that full bush, because this is kind of a ridiculous story. But I am going to say that I went to Pennsylvania for like a few hours, I guess.
You went out to like Philly almost, didn't you?
12 hours. We were in the fucking mountains, man. But I went with a stranger. I took a road trip with a stranger. I had met this particular stranger like 4 days earlier. So if you guys want to hear about my ridiculous roadside adventure with the stranger, took place over 2 days. Check out the full bush. Patreon.com/talkingchaos. Thank you guys for listening this week.